one of them being the majority chief whip, I beg your pardon, who is MP from Sawam Edwejre. He is really concerned. The Honorable Frank Annoh-Dompreh, he's joined us on the line tonight to have a conversation on this matter because he believes that the minority is blowing hot and cold. Honorable, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, my brother. A long time.
Yeah, a long time no here. You are busy doing campaigns and doing other things. So all the projects you are commissioning in your constituency, we've been watching you on Twitter, small. I hope all things are well in the constituency.
Oh, by His grace, we are doing the work of God. And most importantly, also projecting what we believe in, and that is the DMB story.
You started the DMB agenda by praying that Alan Kyerematen becomes running mate to Dr. Bawumia. It appears that has fallen in water, so you have stuck your neck out. You are busily campaigning straight off now.
Well, I think we can have that discussion on some other day, but my resolve and my decision to support Dr. Bawumia is on a principal position, and it's something that I will probably have time to espouse on it more, or elucidate on it more some other time.
Very well. I thought we could just talk about that briefly. And even your constituency, I'm hearing that they are going to build 10 lanes dual carriageway to your constituency. That should be interesting. I don't know whether we will see it soon because projects, the promise is big, but as to whether it will be delivered. I hope things are going well about clearing people, the compensation paid to people living along that road, and before we see the dualization of the Accra-Kumasi road. How is that progressing? Because it's going through your constituency.
I think there has been the recorded steady progress. I recall somewhere, I think about 6 months ago, the project stalled for these court actions. But as of now, I think things are clear and the project is steadily moving. They've gone beyond Amasaman, they've entered into Sawam, they've gone beyond the intersection at Blue Sky, and they're heading towards the Kumasi Road. So I think it's moving smoothly, and we are only hoping that nothing untoward happens, and it moves as expected. I'm very confident that it will happen. And I must commend Maripoma and their leadership for the regular engagement that they've reached out to all the MPs that are concerned. Amasama MP, Honorable Frifa, Honorable Moses Enim, and my good self. We've engaged them on a regular basis. So as we speak, things are clearer than before. And so we wish and hoping to get it done as planned.
Very well. Wish you all the best. Let's talk about the main item on discussion now, which has to do with the work of Parliament. How has the minority boycott affected the work of the House?
Okay, let me answer you in this way. First of all, as you know, we have the House is made of two sides, okay? And both of us have worked together smoothly. At least the sitting things have been smooth until the sudden decision of our colleagues. But to put on record, we have not complained. We, on the side of the majority, we have not complained about their decision. There have been individual appeals to them to reconsider their decision. So even though we would have expected that we work together as we normally do, it is not something that we are out there complaining about. So today, typical of us, we came and we got wind that they were not going to come because I spoke to my counterpart who had indicated that, okay, based on their position earlier made known, they will be going to court. So we understood, and then we started business as normal. 2 ministers programmed to answer questions. Papers were being laid and statements were made, if you recall. The Minister for Agri, Honorable Brian Champon, was scheduled to come and brief the House together with other ministers on the national buffer stock and concerns that have come up. So all went through steadily, okay? Then we adjourned to tomorrow. Then, intermittently, we also picked up signals that our colleagues were participating in committee meetings. first committee was the local government committee, and I took time to follow, and I got it confirmed. Then on the Public Accounts Committee, and they've participated in these engagement of two committees of Parliament. And as you know, Parliamentary committee sitting is an extension of Parliament. It is not different from Parliament per se. So the begging question, my brother, is that why would you boycott the chamber and yet you want to participate on or in a referral or on a matter that the Speaker has referred to a committee to delve in and also to report to the same chamber that you are boycotting? We find that lopsided, and we think that it's on the principal position. And we felt that the Honorable Akufo, my good friend, the minority leader, the respected minority leader, may have to explain to Ghanaians why they will boycott the chamber and yet will participate in the committee meeting. There are compelling reasons. You come and tell us, okay? Because we respect their position, even though we find it unobtainable and not right, okay? Because you were given a chronology of members who have been arraigned before court, and you were mentioning names. But let's also make it abundantly clear that the three arms of government work independently. Even if they work in sync, they work independently. And therefore, if there's a matter before the judiciary, regardless if it is involving a member of parliament or somebody who is part of the executive, we should respect the independence of the judiciary. And therefore, there are due process if we have reasons to be angry or not to be worried about the procedure and all that. There are defined approaches that can be adopted. And this is the first time a member of parliament, with respect to our colleagues, and I respect them. It's not the first time a member is being arraigned before court. So why would you pick and choose and say that, okay, committee meetings, I'll participate in it, and yet the chamber will not show up? We feel that is not a principal position, and they will have to give some reasons why they would do what they are doing. Because, my friend, our colleagues should also get a fundamental fact that they were voted to represent some group of people or some constituencies. Okay, so you cannot say that committee meetings I will attend, but the chamber I will not attend. That is not right. And we are beginning to ask some fundamental questions. That what is it about committees that will attend, but they will not attend the chamber? We found that quite flawed. And we were really shocked when we found them populating committee rooms and actively participating in the works of the committee. So we will still give them the benefit of the doubt that they have to come to the chamber. That is their role as legislators who have been elected by their people. And therefore, they have no business to say that I won't come to the chamber and yet I will participate in committee meetings. That is not right.
Why do you think they choose the committees over the plenary?
Well, I don't want to hazard any guess. Probably you should.
But what's your suspicion?
Because, well, suspicion is not tenable. First of all, it is not right. It is not right. I don't see how one can justify attendance of committee meetings with is an extension of parliament and yet failing to come to the chamber.
Let me offer a help then. Maybe the time the committees were sitting, the court proceedings or court sitting was over, so they could return to come and engage in that. Because mind you, they have not boycotted parliament in its entirety. They just said on days that their colleagues will be in court, they would also follow them to the court. Maybe they finished with court and came to meet the committee sitting and they had to take part.
Okay, so again, you are saying maybe. I followed up. I followed and I checked, okay. The time the committee meeting was ongoing, I think the court was also ongoing. We hear they divided themselves and some said, okay, we'll go to committee meeting. Some others will go to the court, which we find is strange. We find it very strange. So all put together, I'm saying that they must come and justify why they will go to committee meetings and yet will not come to the chamber. But we are not complaining. If this is what they think is right, this is how best they can serve the Ghanaian people who voted them to come to parliament and represent them. So be it, let them go on that tangent. But the good people of this country are so wise are so intelligent that they will demand answers from them. And when the day of reckoning comes, they should not point accusing fingers at anybody. It is their own doing that is going to cost them. So the decision lies in their court, and we will look up to them for them to do what is right. We'll look up to them for them to do what is responsible, as people have been elected and people have been paid by taxpayers' money to serve.
Okay, Honorable. Now, the issue would have to do with the solidarity they are engaging in. Does it not make sense? You are the majority whip. Your duty is to whip all your MPs colleagues into doing one thing or another. If in the course of that you notice one of them is having a problem, do you not owe that person a duty to go with your colleagues to support them? That is the argument they are making, that for them, they believe what you are doing in the courts as a government, and I'm using you as a government now, is persecution and not prosecution. And to the extent that what they see happening in the court is persecution against no mean a person than their leader, then they ought to go and solidarize with that person. Wouldn't you have done the same if you were in the same scenario?
Well, not exactly. Your duty to show solidarity does not necessarily mean you should express in the way they are expressing it. There are other civil approaches that could have been adopted. Well, you can say that it's a question of style, but also ask them, couldn't they have adopted a better alternative than what they are doing? These are questions, begging questions that they should be asking. Now, are they being more treated? Are the rules being bent against them? These are fundamental questions we should ask. Regardless of the number, and the number of people have been arranged or MPs have been arranged, are there cases to be answered? Is the court, did the court go through due process? If all the requirements in terms of due process were respected, why would somebody say that I will boycott my constitutional mandate because a constitutional body is performing its constitutional mandate, so to speak? I think we should go beyond the political gymnastics and go beyond, the face value of it and ask critical questions. If all these three personalities you've aforementioned are being treated fairly, are being treated legally, and there are due process by which they can register a protest, if there is any, why would anybody want to check its constitutional mandate and say that that is the best way I can register my protest? I think it's far-fetched.
Okay,
and
but
I
you know
don't
that
want to.
but boycotts is part of parliamentary. The tools Parliament MPs deploy to protest over anything they feel they are not being treated well over. So what they are doing is constitutionally allowed, democratically allowed, isn't it? Even parliamentary allowed.
Well, if you go into parliamentary jurisprudence, nobody will say that a member is arraigned before court, and therefore I will boycott Parliament. The person has been legally arraigned before court, and therefore you are saying that you are going to boycott. Is that tenable? It is not tenable. Where has the rules been bent? Who has abused the rules? I don't think anybody has abused court rules and court procedure, and therefore it is not tenable as long as they are supposed to apply themselves to law and procedure. I don't think their action is tenable.
Finally, you had on your side less than 30 MPs present today. You had nobody in court. You had no solidarity whatsoever. You have 137 plus 1. Yet you could only produce 26 people on your side. Do you not think that you should actually be taking the bigger blame? Because if you had got everybody on your side in the chamber, you could have continued to do business because there will be quorum.
I don't know how long you have followed Parliament. That I disagree. I don't know who gave you the report, but if you follow parliamentary procedure, where we are learning from other developed jurisdictions, Britain, Australia, and other places, you cannot get a full house every day. Don't forget. In our case, we have ministers who are MPs. I can tell you a whooping number of our colleagues who have gone on a leave or absence for one reason or the other. Okay? So it is not the case that we are unable to produce our numbers. All the time that it matters, that we have to pass a sensitive matter or we have a business to prosecute, we have prosecuted that to its latter. So for those who think that, okay, well, even your side, you didn't get a full house and therefore you cannot complain about the unattainable boycott or a boycott that cannot be justified. I don't accept that.
But you would still have to accept that if you had got all your, at least, half of your number in the chamber, you would have had business going. But for you to produce, and are you saying that you do not agree that 26 MPs on your side were in the chamber today, as has been reported by correspondents who covered?
Well, I will check the records. Tomorrow's voting proceedings will reflect, okay? But I'm saying that all the time that it matters that we should have our numbers, we have not come wanting, okay? Take the most developed parliamentary, democracy that you can name and go through it, and you will realize that it is not possible to have everybody in the chamber every day.
But today, how many did you have on your side?
Well, I need to refer the record. I need to look at the voting proceedings and be able to confirm. However, but we got all that we wanted to do, the business that I would agreed. The questions were answered as expected. We laid the papers that we had to lay. The minister did the briefing that he had to do. And then there was also a statement that was presented by Honorable Atiakubi. So all the programs that were foreplanned, all of them were duly executed. So okay. I don't see the difficulty here.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.